Okay guys, today you're going to learn how to program your Lego robots. Now the first thing you need to do is you're on this screen right now and we need to get to a new program. The way to do this is up in your upper left hand corner there's a little icon that looks like a piece of paper. That's our new program icon. Go ahead and click that now and it's going to take you to a screen that looks like this. Okay, once we're on here, we're going to look at some of the common features that we're going to use to program our robot for this particular challenge that we have. Now, the most common ones are move, which are the ones that look like our gear set. This one is a record play. Now, we're not going to use this one yet, so we're just going to skip over that one. And then the other one we're going to use is sound. We're going to actually let our robot make some sort of sound, and it's a pre-recorded sound. We'll look at that in just a minute. What I want you guys to do right now is go ahead and grab your move toggle and grab it and just drop it here into the chain. And you see that it's making a chain as it goes. Okay, now we've done that, and you see it has some things up here. It says CB, arrow, and then a little power meter, and then this is on what direction it's going. This is a very quick glance when you guys go to troubleshooting. You can automatically see where you've messed up or where something has went wrong, and you can go ahead and look right back here and you can go through your chain of commands and see one really quick instead of clicking on each one. So let's look at what all these things mean. If you look down here at the bottom, you have something that says port. Now, if you look at your Lego brick, that's the main controller on your Lego robot, you'll see that you've plugged some wires in, and on the wires it says A, B, and C there on the brick. Well, if you look down here at port, it says A, B, and C. Right now my B and C is clicked. That's always my default ones. It's always going to be B and C clicked. What this means is the motor that is plugged into port B is going to be powered, and the motor that is plugged into port C is going to be powered at this point. Now, if I had my motors plugged into A and C, I would need to change this from A to C. It's a good thing to always look for when you're troubleshooting. If your Lego robot's just kind of moving a little bit and backing up and not really doing what it's supposed to be doing, always double check your port and see which ones that you have plugged in. Now next is direction, which is pretty straightforward. This one right here means I'm going forward, and you can scroll over it and it will even come up with forward. This one, if I want my robot to go backward, I would click this. And then this one's stop. That's just if I want it to automatically stop. So right now we're going to have our robot going forward. Next is steering. And the steering's always going to automatically pop up with the ports that I've selected. Now, if I want my robot to turn right, I will move my toggle to the right. And you can see it's showing how far right. This is almost a complete U-turn. So you can just play around with this once we get the robot moving. Power. Now that's how fast, or not even the fastest, just how much power is going to those motors. You can click that all the way up to 100%, or we can make that go down. Now the lower power, the slower it's going to go. 75 is usually pretty good. You know, if you want it to go faster, you can. The next one here is duration. What duration does is that's telling you how much are we going to have those wheels spin, or how many rotations are we going to have those motors going. So if you look, if you pull down your drop down box right here, it's going to give you other options. Unlimited. That means my robot's just going to keep, that motor's going to keep going until my battery runs out. It's just going to keep going. Degrees. Now that's like a 360 degrees is a circle. So this is what it's showing. That means one rotation of my wheel is 360 degrees. I could change that to 180 and it would make my wheel go around half a time. You could change it to 720, it would make it go 2 times. You can also pick seconds, and that's just telling you how long do you want it to run. I can make it run 10 seconds. I can make it run 5 seconds or 4 seconds. You can just, what I want you guys to do after I show you all this programming is just to play around. See what the different little drop downs and unlimited, degrees, rotations, and seconds, what it's doing. And that way it gives you a little bit of a feel for what's going on. Finally, we have next action. So after it does its rotations or its seconds, what do you want it to do next? Brake means it automatically stops. So coast, that's kind of like taking your foot off a gas pedal in a car. It doesn't automatically stop your car, but your car will start slowing down. So there's no more power going to it, but it doesn't automatically brake it. Usually you will want brake. There may be some situations where you want coast. Again, play around. You can double check and just look and, play around with it as much as you want. Okay, now that we have these, we can go back now, and I want you to look at the sound. This is the second one we're going to be using for this challenge. So go ahead and grab your sound, and let's drag it right next to my movement. So now I have sound, and again, you can see that I have some different icons here for troubleshooting when I'm going back through. So action, do I want a sound file or a tone? Well, sound file is going to say one of these things over here on this side. A tone is something I can actually make by pressing my different buttons. Right now what we're going to use is our sound file. Okay, and what we do want it to play, so that should be clicked. And this is your volume. Repeat. Do you want it just to keep saying it over and over and over and over again? Or do you want it only to say once? Now, if you click on one of these files over here,
goodbye,
it's going to actually say
good morning,
what it is.
You're good. Right. Thank you.
So again, after we go through this, play around with it. What that's going to do is after my robot moves for 10 seconds, it's going to stop because I have it braking. It's going to stop, and then it's going to say note 4, whatever note 4 is right now. We'll go to note. It will do that. So now I have a chain. I've made a program for my robot. Now say I want my robot to turn. I'm going to keep dragging and dropping. And I want it to turn all the way around. So I'm going to do that. Say I mess up. I don't want to actually have this movement in here. Well, all you have to do is click it and then hit your delete button or your backspace button, your delete or backspace button, and it goes away. So it's really hard to mess up anything on here. Okay, what you guys are going to do now is you're just going to play around with this. When you're ready, plug your USB cable into the computer and then into your robot. Hit this button down here, and that's going to download that to your robot. Once it says download complete, you can go ahead and unhook your robot. You're going to hit your orange button 4 times. Once you hit it 4 times, it will start running your program that you just made. Now, like I said, if you mess up, come back here, or it's not running or doing what you actually told it to do, double check. One of the biggest things I'm finding people are messing up on is they're having the wrong ports clicked. So make sure down here you have the correct ports clicked. It's always going to default to B and C. So sometimes it's just easier to make sure your motors are plugged into B and C. If you want to mess around with it and plug it into A and C, you just have to make sure you click A and C on the port. Okay guys, have fun!